Good morning and welcome back to Mrs. Cash Aquatic Corner. Today I decided I wanted to do a little bit of an update video as it's been quite a long time, I noticed, since I had done a video. So I kind of just wanted to, while I was refilling tanks and doing water changes, I wanted to talk a little bit about what's going on in the aquatic corner. I'm currently refilling my guppy sorority tank, or just my sorority tank, considering there is one betta female in there. In this tank I have several guppy girls, obviously, as is the sorority. A lot of them I want to take to a local fish store, but the local fish store is actually in the process of moving their location, so they are not able to take any fish right now, as they don't have very many tanks set up and they don't have room to take any new ones and like quarantine them. So I'll just hold the girls until I figure out what I'm going to do with them. But anyway, there's a couple girls in here that I'll be keeping for future breeding, hopefully. And then the one little betta girl, she was marked as a baby boy at Petco, and I discovered afterwards that she is a girl. There she is, right there in the front. She's actually really adorable. Her name is currently Patchy, but I think I'll change it because I named her that when I thought she was a boy. And there, so a little better focus. Anyway, I named her Patchy when I thought she was a boy. My kids and I have a dinosaur movie that we enjoy watching, and there's two brothers in the movie, and one is Patchy, the smaller of the two, and Scowler is the bigger of the two. And I got two baby boys that day, and I named Patchy and Scowler due to their size. And the Scowler has a bit more dominating personality, which is just like the older brother, and then Patchy would have been a little more standoffish and shy, which is just like this little girl here. So it kind of suited them before, I thought, when she was a boy. But anyways, I'll change her name probably. You'll notice that the tank is really bare. When I took fish in, I had hoped to trade for like plants, but obviously I'm not going to be able to do that right away. So I just kind of try and make up for the lack of plants with like driftwood and rocks. But this is what I've come up with. I collect all my materials on my own. I actually have never bought any rocks or driftwood decorations like that from the stores. I do have, like, you know, little regular decorations that I've collected over the years in the process of collecting my tanks and whatnot. And I don't usually like to use those. I like the natural look now. I used to really like just the common fish tank look, but I don't know, I've grown out of that phase. You will see fake plants here and there because I lack real plants, so I try and make up for it with the fake plants that I actually like the looks of. And in this tank is empty aside from little bladder snails. I did have a crawdad in here, but she didn't make it, so I'm just going to use this tank for something. I haven't 100% decided. I do think that I'm going to put some of the girls in here so that there's a little bit more room in the sorority tank. But that just hasn't happened yet. We'll move down on the rack to where most of the activity is. I have my 5 gallons here. I have 5-gallon number 1, 2, 3, and then 4. And 5-gallon number 1 is my muck guppy tank. I think what I have here are guppy endlers, guppy endler hybrids. Due to their colorization and patterning, I don't know how to say that. I think that they're endler hybrids. I just had a female from the pet store. She just had babies, so these are them. and I do believe that they're Endler hybrids. So I'm calling this my mutt guppy tank. I'm waiting on babies from them. There are babies in the tank, but I think they came from an earlier situation that I had put some of these girls in, actually in that tank. I was going to have that tank be my mutt guppy tank, but shortly after putting the girls in with the males that I had in there, I found out my girls were ill. So I had immediately removed them and quarantined all the girls. The whole entire sorority tank had gotten ill. I still don't know what we were battling, but we battled it for like 6 months. So that was another reason I haven't really shared a lot. We got over whatever it was. I think in one of my previous videos I did talk a little bit about it. But anyway, now we're finally over all of that business, and I have this tank to be my mutt guppy tank. I have my tequila sunrise in here. This is the last of all the tequila sunrise that I have put together. And in both tanks, it's a 4 female to 2 male ratio. So that everybody can have some peace at times. And in this tank there's also babies, but I don't think that they are actually just from the tequila sunrise. I think that they may be also from that mutt guppy situation with that one, because I had put 1 female tequila sunrise in that tank when I was going to do the mutt guppy setup in there. Because these babies that are in here are a bit darker than I remember these guys being when they were born. So I think that they may have come from one of the mutt guppies. But I'm still excited to just see the little babies swimming around in there. So once they grow up and I can tell what they are, I'll remove them if they aren't just tequila sunrise. In this tank I have my daughter's red veil-tail betta. His name is Volcano, and he just kind of hangs out over here and does his thing. He's kind of a mild-tempered little guy. He has some Coreodoras. You'll notice in each one of my tanks I have albino Coreodoras. I like to fill my tanks up with those little guys. Those are one of my favorite fish ever. I really enjoy them. They have a lot of personality, and they do a really good job of helping keep the tank clean, and they're just really cute. So all of my fishy tanks pretty much have albino Coreodoras. I have a pretty successful breeding trio in my 55-gallon, and I collect their eggs and set up a hatchery, and then I have just been focusing mainly on stocking all of my tanks before I'm willing to give any of those little ones away. So I'm not 100% satisfied because I don't have any in that one. I don't think I have enough in that one. This is my grow out tank down here, and it doesn't have enough either. So as the years go on, I will sell... Oh no, owie. Can I kiss it better? No. No. I will sell albino cories as well, and then in the future I have 1 emerald cory in the tank, and I want to get that that little one. I'm not sure if it's a male or a female. It's quite large, like a female, but aerodynamic like a male. And I'm going by the I'm going by what I know about albinos. I don't know as much about emeralds as I do the albinos. So I'm not sure if it's a male or a female. One day I'll find out. So anyway, excuse all the bouncing around. My son, obviously you can hear him. He's calling for me. So anyway, I will talk a little bit more about Volcano because he is actually going to be my very first betta breeder. The little girl in the sorority tank, she is a dark red crown tail, and I am going to try breeding the 2 of them together when she grows enough to be bred. And they're both really mild-tempered, so I think that they'll do good together. And I just think that they would produce really pretty babies with his bright red and her dark red. She does have some like bright red at the tips of her fins. And I think that they would just produce some really pretty babies. So when she grows enough to be bred, that's going to be my very first betta breeding experience. And with the two mild-tempered fish, I think that I should have a positive experience with them. And I haven't 100% decided which tank I'm going to use as their breeding tank. I'm still in the process of doing a lot of research on how how other people have had success. It's kind of funny because a lot of people have success one way and then they say that they don't have success another way, but then other people will have had success that way and not the other way. So a lot of the videos that I have been watching, everybody says that, you know, your experience is never going to be the same as the other person's. So I am still in the process of deciding which method I'm going to try. I do have a couple things that I feel I'll change about those methods to suit my situation and my setup. So I hope that maybe in the future when I get to that point, you guys will be interested in following along with my first betta breeding experience. It's a little more tedious than breeding guppies because obviously you just put the guppies in the tank and they do their thing and you have babies. With the bettas, there's a lot more that goes along with it. You know, you have to monitor them a little bit to make sure that the male and the female are going to be suitable together. You can't just plop the female in with the male. You kind of want to introduce them maybe through a cup, you know, like a see-through cup, and then when you have your male in the breeding tank to get familiarized with the space, you put her in the tank eventually, you monitor them to make sure that they'll be okay together, and then you give them their space, and they take some time to get to know each other, and then they do what's called the embrace, which I will just flip when I see that for the first time. And then he will actually take care of the eggs. You'll remove the female from the tank after they are finished with their process. You have to take care of her for a little while before releasing her back into her environment, you know, kind of reconditioning her. She's going to be tired, and it's going to be a lot of work, but a lot of fun, and I'm really looking forward to it. With my albino Cory cats, that process of breeding and raising them is kind of a little bit tedious as well, but I've always really enjoyed it, and I'm always super happy when I get a really good outcome in the babies. And I have lots of babies, and sometimes it's like, oh my gosh, I don't know what to do with you all, but I have so much excess space right now, and each tank could use another albino Cory. These 5 gallons, I think this one has plenty, this one could have a couple more, and this one maybe, because it's a betta tank, overdoing it on the Cory cats might be, you know, I might not put more in there. I think he has 2 or 3. But I don't know. If because he's really mild-tempered, he doesn't even act like he really notices them. He hangs out with them, but he's not, like, mean to them. So, I could maybe put 4 in here total. This tank is the hospital tank. It has nothing in it. I might, like, want to put some albino Corys in there to, like, stabilize the tank while it's running with nobody in it that needs hospitalized. But this is just like my quarantine hospital tank. It's just sitting here doing its thing, staying cycled. But we'll see. In my 55 gallon, I have lots of room. It could do for more albinos. I want to get more emeralds because I would love to have them breeding also. This guy likes to get in on the spawning process, but doesn't. I read somewhere that if an albino and an emerald bred, which is possible, that you would definitely get the emerald colorization, and I've never gotten any emerald coloring. So I guess that just hasn't happened. So I want to get more emeralds eventually. One of the times that I take more fish into the store, instead of getting plants, I might get more fish, and emeralds would be some of those fish. I do have, this is just my little community. It's just set up to look pretty. It obviously needs more plants. It needs lots. All of my tanks need lots. And over here you'll see Isa Puma. This is my daughter's fair goldfish from like 3 years ago now. She's just absolutely stunning. She's just in a 35-gallon tank for now due to the lack of space, and she'll be upgraded to a 55-gallon when that time comes. We will get her a friend or two.
No, baby, no.
But at this time, that's pretty much everything that's going on in the aquatic corner. I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. I want to try making my videos be a little more informative. Maybe you can learn from them. I was trying to set it up while I was doing water changes so that you could maybe experience me doing that, but I just can't seem to get the camera angle good. A lot goes on in the background. It makes it really hard for me to just run the video and have you guys hear everything and see everything properly. So my son's been kind of demanding lately. He's not feeling that great. So at this time, I'm going to call it the end and say talk at you later. And bye for now. I hope you enjoyed, and stay tuned for more if you're interested. Enjoy. Have a great day. Bye.